I just want to let everybody know that we are on a fine timeline here. Sometimes it goes over, depending on what the issue is, but we should get done at 6. Okay, has everybody had time to read the minutes?
Yeah, I was kind of curious, this is Paul.
I just want to let everybody know that we are on a fine timeline here.
Hold on.
Sometimes it goes over, depending on
Sorry.
what the issue
You're
is.
repeating yourself, that's a delay.
We should get done at 6.
There, okay.
I think you should talk to your wife.
Found it.
That's it.
What, you saying something, Paul?
Yeah, are we good now?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. I just was looking at the minutes and I'm pretty sure I was at the last meeting, so.
Yeah, you just entered a little late, so I put it in there when you entered.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right. I don't know if there was yep, gotcha. I guess I didn't see that, overlooked it.
Okay, and I have on the minutes for December. I have a change on page 2. It's item number 6, future budget items. And in about the second sentence, it says, pointed out that in a previous meeting, they had already approved replacement signs for Dalton Lake. And it says, and the BMX trail, but it was also Civic Pride.
Civic Pride as well.
And on the council's report, it was said that she also wants bee houses and a bird viewing platform. We have a bee house and it's to be installed. Okay. And also on the discussion items on the motion for, there was an amendment or a motion on having dogs in city buildings, but that wasn't mentioned. It was on, it says questions were brought up about the gray area in the motion and what well-behaved means. Right. But somebody reading that might think it's for people. So,
Okay.
yeah. We can add people. And that's all I have. Thank you. Any other amendments? Would somebody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
We need a second? Okay. Any other discussion on this? Or let's have a vote. All in favor of approving the December and January minutes, say aye and raise your hand, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next, there's visitor comments here, 3 minutes each, but we do have, I don't think we have anybody else on the, do we have anybody else in the waiting room?
No, we don't. There was, for the park bench, Teresa Knight did want to be included, and she said she may or may not be able to come. Apparently she's not here, but she did give me her questions if you want to go over them.
Okay,
So
we can do that. Councilman Ryder?
There, so there's no questions. You know that.
Thank you for making the copies.
We're gonna jump and get Brad ahead of her since she's not here.
certainly can.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be fair.
I think that'd be great. So under new business, we're gonna ask Brad Hendrickson to come up. Let's talk about Sand Island.
Brad Hendrickson's, Sand Island Campground. So the new stuff that's coming online this year, we built 6 cabins out there and a big group shelter. So we're not quite done with the cabins. We're with the solar panel stuff be installed and finished on the inside. We're still hoping to have that done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But, yeah, that's the new things anyway for this year.
How big a cabin or is it?
They're about a 12 by 20. If you've ever been down to Port Stevens, that's the same size as their cabins down there, the KOA, actually, those kind of things, so. We don't have any, we were hoping to have showers and restrooms in each of the cabins. That's still, we're still moving toward that. We have to talk with the county for the whole, septic system thing, so that's still up in the air right now. So right now, they're a rough cabin and hopefully they'll be finished, so we'll see.
Kitchen area.
Little. That's
But
still.
set your camp stove up, huh?
Right, that's, we are gonna have, there will be grills in each cabin, so on the outside, so they will have a propane grill anyway, but, we're wanting to have them all finished, but we're having discussions with the county, so.
How many cabins are there all there?
There's 6.
6 right now?
Yeah.
Well, how many are gonna be built? Do you have?
6 right now, we have another island. It has to be on high spots on the island, so we have one other high spot on the southern end of the island where we could fit another 6-ish cabins down there. So we'll just see how these go, and then, we'll make a decision after that.
I have a general statement and then a question for Buck and Brad there. You know, when this first came through, I was, really in favor of it. Because we had, the island was really filthy. 2, we couldn't get people, back and forth. There was also some behavioral problems, I would say. And there was people that were parked in boats that would stay there, their time. And I was really in favor because it would also, bring people to St. Helens because they'd be able, from, Labor Day, Memorial Day to Labor Day that you run a shuttle.
Shuttle and stuff like that. Well, it was for March 1st, but, March 1st to the, end of October.
Okay. And, so I think that is a good deal. So the question I have for Buck and you is, how is this is a general question. I have a lot of specific questions too, because
Sure.
I've been wanting you to come here for about 2 years. And
Oh.
I'm the one that keeps sounding for you to show up here. So the question for you and Buck is, how has this agreement worked for the city and for you as a businessman?
Okay.
On my end. Been good. I have nothing to do with it, to be honest.
And why is it good for you?
It doesn't take up my team's time. Of traveling back and forth and trying to do other things yeah, it's less man hours that I'm using up to go over to the island. We don't even. I can't remember the last time we were over there.
You don't go to the, yeah.
I know we don't, but it was a long time ago.
No, so what you were paying, what the city was paying was about 25 grand a year to send your crews over there to clean restrooms, to mow grass. Just that general maintenance kind of stuff. And now instead of that, you're getting about $10,000 to $12,000 coming to you. In your room tax thing, there's 2 taxes I can try to think, John, we gotta.
Yeah, it's 10% gross revenue, then 10%.
Right, so you get 10% gross revenue off all the campsites, and then there's a room tax thing also, which is another 10%, right?
Yeah, I have lots of questions here.
Yeah.
So, who wants to go first, Jacob? You or me?
Okay, so
Trade off.
Yeah, let's trade off.
first of all, we appreciate all you do over there. That's awesome. I think what you do over there is a great thing and it's good for the community and everything. My question is, so who's putting these cabins? Are you putting the cabins in?
I built, yes,
So
I
you're
paid for
paying,
all
you're
the
paying for all that,
Yep,
okay? I understand that's gonna be a lot of money.
it was about $250,000, yes.
How much does Sandown would make it a year?
I don't know if you have to disclose something like that, but right now, nothing. We're breaking even. So there's a huge thought out there in our lovely city that we are making a killing over on Sand Island, and we are not. So it really is a break, because we spend $500 a weekend parking cars. We have a valet parking service where campers come in, they drop their stuff off, they go to the parking lot and then we bring them back. So I have to have somebody there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night running a parking shuttle. It just, as you start building your stuff down the water, parking's a huge issue. Yeah, and you're gonna have to move people back and forth from it, and it costs money. So, and then, the shuttle skippers, we have 2 boats that are running, from 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. So you've got You know, you've got basically 3 skippers that are, that are running this thing. So your employee costs are high. Mine are a lot less than yours would be, because you're providing, insurance and retirements and all this kind of stuff. So I'm able to do it a little bit cheaper than what the city could do.
The reason why I bring this up is.
Yeah.
We wanna do things for our parks.
Yeah.
And we get told all the time, "Oh, we don't have no money for it."
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that the money that you are making over there goes back into the park. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of stress off us. But we were like, wondering about other parks too, that we also are over.
Yeah.
And so that's why my question was, how much money are you making and,
Yeah.
just the park?
Well, I'm glad that came out so they could get into public comment, because there is a huge misconception out there that we have got a huge gold mine over on that island and.
Well, all we know is that people pay to camp over there.
Yep,
People pay for firewood over there.
yep,
We
absolutely.
don't know where the money's going. So it's like, well, wouldn't that be nice if it came back to the parks? Well, from what I'm hearing, it is going back to the park, but it's that part,
It's that part.
which is
Right.
breaking even. So all the money you're making is going to back into the park.
I will didn't mean to interrupt you. I will throw something out here to you guys. And I would seriously consider this, is add some RV spots to your parks. McCormick, any places you've got $600 to $700 a month you could get for an RV space, and they'll be glad to pay.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of little spots around the town, where
It's
they
crazy.
actually put
Around your
in.
baseball fields and McCormick, there's lots of spots, guys. and
We
it's-
actually at one time made a proposal that we should have an RV park at the, water building down along there.
Yep.
But I don't know if that really worked anywhere.
No, didn't go
It did. There was discussions about it.
For a while.
Yeah. No, but it's fantastic because they're good people for the most part. They've got, disposable income, and they're just looking for a place to park and stay for 5 or 6 months, and they're not problems to your community. I mean, I have 27 of those spots down at the marina, and I don't have problems.
Right.
They're there.
You don't have very many vacancies either.
No, but by-
not-
when you come in and talking to us, though, it gives me an idea of where the money going back in.
Yeah, yep.
Where we were blind to this before.
Sure.
Where's all this money going? Is it going in their pockets? Is it going?
Well, all this money, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
see now, I have a better understanding.
Yes.
of it.
No, that's good.
So it's about 15,000 that you've been paying to the city.
Yeah, about 10 to 15 grand.
So is that money going back to the parks, or is that going into the general fund?
So that money goes, it's part of the Sand Island, what drives all of this is the agreement that we have between Sand Island Campground and the city and city not having a lot of money in parks, we've relied on, the campground to make all these investments, and some of these they've paid forward, like they built a good parking lot. The spaces that are dedicated towards, they engineered and constructed that, and we are reimbursing that.
Yeah, you are reimbursing 50%. So when we started the campground, we had an agreement with the city that we would provide we would open up a parking lot there or pave one there at a dead end street, right? Well, that cost about 60 grand. And the agreement was that you would reimburse us for 30,000 of that through part of our 10% a year that we're paying.
And they're looking at capacity. You said there were 6. I thought there was eight spots there.
Parking spots?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe there's 8.
Seems
Seems like it was 10,000, but
Anyway.
it was really expensive. That's all I know.
You're at capacity, actually had something written in the contract that you do something would actually go into effect to increase that somewhere.
To increase parking after that? No,
Yeah, there was,
as far as I
I
know,
read something in the contract, sorry.
you might have. I don't remember. But I'm getting old, so.
You're at capacity, in other words.
For me.
So you're at capacity for that?
Yes.
So where is this parking lot that you pay?
Is it Columbia Boulevard? Is it the end of Columbia Boulevard? So do you know Diane Dillon? You know my marina?
I know Diane Dillon. I know your marina very well. I used to live right above it.
There you go. So between Diane and I, up there on River Street, there's a little parking lot right between Diane and I. We paved that parking lot and did that. That was you.
Okay, so I read the agreement. I meant to bring it with me, but I left it at home. I didn't see anything in it. So John, so part of the 12,000 is going back to pay for the parking lot?
Just about We're just about there.
Paid off.
It's about there. So when that's paid off, will the 12,000, 15,000, will that go to the parks or will it go into the general fund of the city?
Parks is one of the general fund departments in the city, so.
It's not designated, that money's not designated for the park though.
So when the state goes back to the general fund, it goes to everybody else but the parks. Because we're down the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because Buck gets paid, doesn't it? So,
Okay, I've lost loads of questions here. So.
Sure.
So when you put in the cabins, the city has to agree to that.
You have to get them permitted, yes.
But they have,
Oh, actually, no, you're right, because it's a city park, right? So anything you want to do, you have to get approval to do that, yes.
and I know you have a 10-year contract and then you have 2 5 years and. If it ever determinates, then the city will basically have to buy that from you.
Right.
So they're approving that.
Yeah.
So that's way down the future if they want to take it over. So are you planning on getting water there? A well?
Yes, this is where I stepped ahead of myself because I thought that, Mullen doesn't matter. There's a well out there right now. We aren't, it's not an active well yet because I have to now go back and make sure we have a place to put the gray water and stuff that comes out of it. Didn't know that. This is one of the conversations we're having with the county. So yeah, it was easy. It was 20 feet down, we got water.
Yeah.
So now we have to, but we haven't spent the money to get a pressure tank out there and to get whatever. All the other things you need for a well, so.
Lots of questions.
Yeah.
So what are some of your future upgrades that you're going to try to do in the next, what's your plan? Just,
I want to, in order to make this a extremely viable campground, you have to have flushing toilets and you have to have showers. Now, we have them in a 3-minute boat ride over here to the courthouse docks, right? I'd like to have a little barge, worst case scenario, down there at the docks, just a little shower and restroom barge. And then, after every weekend, we just bring it over and pump it out at the city docks. That would be one plan. I'd like to put the showers on land, as long as we had a septic system that is approved by the county. Again, this is our conversation I've had. I've already had an expert go out there and say, it's not a problem. We paid for it. He said, yep, you can do it. It's all one huge sand filter out there, but we just have to get it, we have to get everybody rowing in the same direction.
so when you have the next question, there's lots of them here. So when do you have behavioral problems? Between your campers, I assume, people visiting.
Yes.
So I'm making a statement here. So regular people, anyone can use the beach during the
Yep,
week.
absolutely.
It's a park, right?
Yep.
It's just, right.
City park,
Okay.
yeah.
I want people to know that if they're listening,
Yes.
because that's, I think, important. So if there is behavioral conflicts or behavioral problems, how do you handle that? Because that was a big issue before you took over.
It's a huge issue, and we were not gonna throw anybody under the bus here or anything like that, but we talked to the police when we took this thing over, and we're told that we would have police support on that island. When you go to Fort Stevens, when you go to any other state park and you have a problem in there, you call the cops and they show up. Right? So right now, we don't have that backup. So I've had, actually, my camp host assaulted. We've had, fights that have broke out there and stuff like that, and we have 0 ways to get back. I was also told that the police were and the problem is you're going over water, right? So police wear about 40 pounds worth of vest, on their body. So they need to be trained what to do over water. I get that. They have to have 2 guys there. I get that. So we were told that they were being put into a training program that would take about 9 months. And that was well over a year ago, and we haven't seen that. So we
County
don't.
doesn't do anything for you then?
Yeah, no,
Because
So you take care of that yourself.
but I don't.
You just let it resolve
That's
itself.
exactly right. I tell my camp hosts now, do not get involved. The only way they'll come over there right now, we've been told, is life-threatening kind of a thing. So you cannot put yourself in harm's way, an employee of mine,
Someone had guns or threatening someone, okay.
You can get somebody over there.
So the island is kind of, it's not down the middle, but the Division of State Lands has part of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, the eastern part, I guess I'll
Yeah.
call it, or the
Yeah.
eastern third.
Yeah.
Now, do you, I mean, I know that's an agreement not between you and the city, but between you and the state. Now, do you have an agreement with the state to use that?
No, we have talked about it, John and I have talked about getting so that the city would have the control, entire control of the island. DSL doesn't care, it's just, the only reason DSL is there because it was dredge spoils, right? I mean, as you start building that island, it's the state that's doing it, so they're going to take it, so. I don't know what it will take, and I don't think we've probably had a conversation in a long time about it, but, I mean. I would, as a campground host or whatever, I would be leasing it from the state if I could. Absolutely, so you have complete control of that island.
So
As far as the parks go, I would encourage you guys to do it.
are some of your campsites on that land now?
I think there is some, yeah.
Okay, and they don't really care about that. Originally, you were supposed to charge a minimum of $30 per campsite. And what is your plans this year for the campsites and for the cabins and that sort of?
It'll be the same thing. I think it's at $35. We got a new software, new whatever.
Is there restrictions for how much you can charge?
No,
Whatsoever?
you can charge anything you want to. So like the cabins, if you go down to, again, I just keep, saying KOA or whatever, it's like a hotel room. It's $190 a night. If you want to stay in one of their cabins, and they're booked. But then again, they have flushing toilets, they have showers, they have a little, microwave kind of a thing, but no, there's no restrictions on it. It's all whatever the market will bear kind of thing.
Yeah, that's,
Is there a discount to state homes residents?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they'll do.
What is that, what is?
Great question. I know that. It was funny. It's almost 30% off, 33% off, something like that, yeah. Yeah, because it was, I think we were giving $10 a night, 30, so it wasn't 30 off, yeah.
So, now as you said that you have trouble down there still, and you give them no help. Is it possible to hire like security?
Could be, but again, the budget is
More fees than that.
and we don't want, I don't want to blow it out of proportion. We have, I'm gonna say 2 to 3 episodes a summer. So it's not a lot, but it doesn't take a lot. I mean, if you get a 12-year-old girl pushed down on the ground, I don't really care for that a whole lot. And amazingly enough, you get 400 people on that island on 4th of July. And it was fine. I mean, everybody was having a great time, right? I mean, and there wasn't a problem, but it's the 1% of the time that you have to plan for, that you have to have backup, just like in any other thing, just like McCormick Park, just like the parking lot of Safeway. You really want to have that backup there, because nobody else is trained to do it. They are, so.
is there a limit to the number of people you can have on the island?
No, as far as I know, no.
I would have thought you'd have to,
We
because of your bathrooms and what it, all.
no, the bathrooms they handle it, but, we have a limited number of people that are allowed, in each campsite. So we do limit it, but the public, as was stated earlier, can go there anytime they want to, right? 4th of July, they can show up, and we had probably 100 people that just showed up in their own boats, pulled up on the sand and watched the fireworks. And it's a fun time, it's great. And really, it's one of the few, there's not a lot of cities that have that, guys. I mean, it's fantastic, it really is.
So I think we have something that a lot of cities,
Yeah.
So the docks that are there.
Yeah.
So my understanding that the Oregon State Marine Board will pay up to like $5,000 a year for maintenance. So does the city get the contractors? How does that work? This is between John and.
Yeah.
So the docks need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So does the city say, hey, state, we need to fix these docks? And then who gets the people, who pays for the work, who pays, for the insurance? How is that whole dock maintenance situation handled?
There's quite a few pieces in that package.
Yes.
The higher level is there's the Marine Assistance Program, which is a program that the state agrees to pay, and it comes from voter registration fees for for voters to support voting facilities. And the two island restrooms are constructed partially with those funds, partially with some other federal funds. But they give you maintenance funds. It's usually not half of what it costs, and sometimes even a third. And so it's kind of a clawback with that. But yeah, 5,000 is kind of a normal-ish number where
So John, but so the question,
that's.
so does the city handle all of that? That's my understanding is the city handles that. It's not Brad that does that. It's out of his hands. It's
I don't own those dogs.
the docks are handled by the city. That's good enough for us. So when the sandcastle contest is there, how does that work? What's your relationship with that?
The relationship is it puts a lot of people at the campsites. The city has a boat, right? Which I don't know, whatever. So that's the boat that runs people back and forth for that Sand Island competition thing. So they can take 30 people at a time. I can take 6 people at a time. So that it does a really fantastic job of getting people over that island and getting them back. So yeah, there's nothing, that was something Tina did that.
So as long as they're on the beach and they're not, a lot of people, obviously you said rent from you at a campsite,
Yeah.
but like I've gone over to that and walked around and looked at the sandcastles and come back and
Yeah,
it's
all the
just,
same day.
it's just like a city park. You can
Yeah.
just go ahead and do that. Now, the next question is, so apparently this has been working fairly well for you for the last few years and you see it, you would be investing in the water and the cabins if it wasn't doing good. So
Well, let's hope so.
next question would be just hypothetical, so I won't ask that.
Well, I will tell you one thing, I wouldn't have been investing in this if there wasn't an asterisk at the bottom saying that at the end of 10 years, I'm gonna get paid back. So I'm trying to develop this campground so that it is a going concern. In order to do that, you have to put money into it.
So you're looking to sell back to the city?
Well, it's not sell it back, at the end of 10 years, we both have an option of, you guys can cancel me, I can cancel you, but. When you're in business, you're trying to make money, and right now, we're not there.
I mean, what we're looking at is, it's a public lands too.
Yes.
So we have to balance the two, because you're looking for money, we're looking to actually provide for the citizens of St. Helens.
Absolutely.
The quality of our
Yeah.
parks, which this is one of them, so we're trying to balance both of those, against each other.
And have you been over there? Okay, so I'm gonna assume that I hope you're gonna agree with me, it's a lot better shape now than it was 3 years ago.
I wasn't over there 3 years ago.
Oh, okay,
We've done tours over there.
I'll guarantee you it's better today than it was 3 years ago. Because I went over there when sleeping in your restroom.
I would think that would be the case.
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons I asked that question was what is the value of the improvements that have been made in the park? Because after 10 years, if you don't want it,
Right,
then the city has to
right.
buy half of, my understanding is half.
No, the half was a reimbursement thing.
That was the
So
real.
the city the third party has to evaluate it and buy it
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Get it
So if you want to get rid of it, the city has got it and they got to pay you back for that
Right.
money.
Right.
So I think that's really important that the city really evaluate, what they put on the island, because how long has this been in agreement now?
Are we 3? Is this?
Our third
Are we
year.
done, are we starting our third? Have we done 3? I think we're starting our third. Our third camping season.
Seems like it's longer than that to me, but who knows?
Me too.
Doesn't that also include the capitalization of earnings? That you'd be looking to get back?
Right.
I had a question on that. Was there an assessment before, you took over of the, capitalization of earnings?
Hold on, because I'm not great with accounting terms. So to me, it would be appraisal of,
It's like a market value of the earnings.
okay, so there,
So it's like a goodwill type of thing.
okay, so there would be 0.
No, there'd still be a campground there, correct? When you took over.
You didn't charge for a campground.
Okay.
It was 0. So there was camp spots. They were just rough. There was some fire pits and stuff like that, and the restrooms were there, but you weren't charging for it. You were a minus 25,000 when we started.
So when you have these cabins built, you have a subcontractor do that.
Yes,
So my understanding is that since this is city property, the city still has liability for that. So who pays for the insurance for the subcontractors?
I'm paying for all that kind of stuff, cause but where the city is covered is everything has to be permitted, right? So it goes through the building department, all that kind of stuff. So it's just like building a cabin over here or a house over here on shore, so.
So the
Same
sums
process.
that bill that are insured.
Right.
Okay, that was, because my understanding was if that wasn't the case, then the city would be, could have liability if something happened there. Did you buy a new boat?
No,
It was in the paper last summer about a new
I
boat.
think that's the city, I think the city shop.
That's the 31, probably the.
That's the big
31.
one, yeah,
It's the
yeah.
tourism boat.
Yep. It's a great boat, by the way. I'm just telling you right now. For a city that's on the water, that thing is a lovely asset for you guys.
Ooh, I didn't bring I ran off a copy of this and I left it home because I was busy today. I can't remember what section 401 was, but it asked about rent credit.
We're talking about that thing where we built that parking lot. And we got the,
30%.
Is that the rent credit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I had a question on that, but I didn't follow up with it.
Is that under, property taxes, the island?
there is property taxes. Yes, there are property taxes.
It'd be reassessed to the new cabins and all of that?
I'm assuming they will, don't tell the county. I'm assuming they will, yeah. Yeah, and we're getting, the city is getting, I think, 6,000 a year for bathrooms, maintenance or something like that, and that's been covering the property taxes. But you guys weren't, am I right, John? You weren't charged property taxes before. Yeah, but it was, yeah, so the city wasn't paying any property taxes on that, and then we started adding value to it.
The other one too is what with the docks that are out there, there's marine board ramps and stuff up there that need to be marked and out, so replacing them and stuff. Things like that, Scotland's Bay Marina, so there is
There's
those types of money for projects if it was originally in water or sometimes that. I mean, there's some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, late last summer, the Marine Board came out and did an inspection of all three docks, both the North and South San, the Island docks and the courthouse docks. And came back with about an inch thick report of deficiencies in all three docks, and
We got the main hazardous ones fixed, because there were some hazards out there. I mean, you had docks that have come loose. Yeah, it was,
ramp was
Was
ripped.
that part of
that ramp that was right, what's that?
the erosion that was happening over there that?
It wasn't the erosion, that was, no, this was like one of the main fingers coming off, the main headwalk coming out, had broken loose, the bolts had worn through, so it was.
Well, I saw that you had erosion problem.
Oh, yeah.
Was it, where did that come from? Do you know? Is it from the docks?
So that's from the Columbia River, the Columbia River, and you guys have got I don't know, but you were the county, it's probably you, it's your restrooms. That thing is going to continue to, every single year it's gonna erode. The river's gonna come up every single winter time, it's gonna go back down, and you're gonna have less island, every time.
But it keeps getting smaller.
Yeah, sure does.
So, dump more sand out there.
We haven't understand, I'd love to know, I mean, I called the Corps, and maybe.
Dredging out there quite
They
frequently.
dredge all the time, so I don't know what you have to do to get on their list of, please dump sand on my island. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been there when they actually dumped it.
Yeah.
It was huge, I mean, they added so much area to the east side of that island, there was probably a 40-foot bank.
Yeah.
I mean, it was massive.
I remember when there was a 40-foot bank.
Yeah. And that's, by the way, it's all gone. I mean, Mother Nature never stops.
Well, there's a reason why there was an island there in the first place.
You are correct, yes, yeah.
Is there anything you do about people that just pull open their boats and dock there for the night?
There's nothing you can do.
That's
We asked them.
marine dock, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, as far as on the docks, it's fine, yeah, I mean, we're monitoring the docks, they're allowed 72 hours. And then you can start citing them or whatever, that actually came into effect this last year, so that's a good tool.
You tied them yourself?
Yeah, we have to go through the process, you can put a lien on their boat, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do now that we actually have the rules for it, so. Which is a good thing, you do not want what's happening downtown Portland.
Cause they tightened it up, the docks out here and that.
That's the other agreement we had with.
Howard, do you remember the first time we did a tour of the island? When we went over there, they had like the little honor boxes.
Yeah.
They said they got
$2.
$3 in the.
In a season,
Yeah, I've read this here, and it makes sense to me now since, there's been some conversation, but I'll read it anyway, because I think it's kind of. It says, I'm leaving off part of it, so it says, if in any year of the term, landlord, that be the city, receives any MAP funds, that's the state board of. Marine board there, associated with existing improvements other than the docks, which the tenant is obligated to maintain. Purchase to this lease, such as restrooms, such portions of the MAPS funds actually received, the tenant MAP funds, then tenant shall be entitled to a rent credit in the amount of the tenant MAP funds. The rent credit will be applied by landlord against the next rent coming due under this lease until the credit is exhausted.
what is this map fund and where are you hiding?
So.
That has one happening, I mean, it's just.
Johnny, is there money that I should be getting a credit for? Cause I'd like to know.
I thought I understood that until I read it the third time, but I just didn't understand that. So in common. I could never be an attorney. So in non-legal terms, what's that saying?
The funding that we do get is coming from the courthouse, these restrooms at the top here. The Marine Board has not been funding the other MAP funds for the.
Say that again, John.
The MAP funds that we have gotten in the last few years have been just for the courthouse docks, restrooms, and not for the island.
Okay. But if the tenant, but it says here, if existing improvements other than the docks, which tenant is obligated to maintain, purchase to this lease, such as restrooms, then the tenant shall be entitled to a rent credit in the amount of the tenant MAP funds. The rent credit will be applied by landlord against the next rent coming due under this lease until the credit is exhausted.
We don't have any credit. So we're not getting any funds is what I'm.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not getting any, so I'm not getting a credit for any of the funds that may have been coming our way, which aren't here. So
You said that the restrooms are actually government or state. The Marine.
You guys got a grant to
Yeah, we're
build.
constructed with called big funds, big voter investment grants, federal funds. They're required to be maintained and the campgrounds
They're
are.
fantastic.
Wondering, if there's an agreement between your use of them as a campground and what, it was, I would imagine originally. Slated for a use of people visiting the island for, rather than in a public
Right.
fashion, rather than a private
Yeah.
individual making money off the campground.
Yeah.
So I would have thought there might be an agreement having to use the restrooms there.
I don't know whether.
So the restrooms were sized to accommodate owner usage and the 37 campground spots that were there at the time they were constructed, kind of this agreement that we have now.
Yeah. And then you shut off the ones on the southernmost, there was 2 restrooms down there, and we brought those back, so they're functioning on 2, so you actually have 3 restrooms out there instead of 2.
I was just wondering how that worked out, because it seemed like.
I'll tell you, again, it's amazing, because again, they're just pit toilets, but we actually flush water, we every day go and dump 30 gallons of water into each toilet, help loosen everything up, and it's working fantastic, it really does.
I thought they were solar powered, aren't they?
No, there is, on the 2 new, each one of those restrooms was $250,000, the new ones. No, there's a whole computer system and everything, one transient motor decided to rip out of one of them. But, no, they're solar powered because it runs your, there's wash down pumps to clean them. There's a big cistern in there that, helps push water in through the system and all this kind of stuff. So they're very elaborate as far as a toilet goes, but there's no, you still have to go in there and clean them up by hand and all that kind of stuff, so.
Well, in the interest of time, if there isn't any more
Oh, yeah.
questions, how do we get a hold of you if we do have questions? What is your email?
I wrote it down, but I'll give it to you right now. It is 3232brad@gmail.com. So you don't need to wait 2 years. Just send me an email anytime. I'll get you answers to your questions.
I appreciate you answering a lot of my questions. You helped me understand the way the island works.
Anytime, guys. No, I've been here for 27 years with that marina, so I'm not going anywhere. So anytime you want any questions answered, just.
Maybe we'll have to have another field trip out there.
Yeah.
Like it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brad.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item of new business is the park bench, which we got a handout. It looks like Teresa will not be here today, so she had 5 questions for us about how to place a bench. What do you have to do? Or is there any paperwork? What's the application process? So, did she mention that she's, okay,
Thanks, John, for showing up.
oh, yeah, thank you, John.
Need anything else, someone else?
Okay. So did she mention that she would be listening to the answers we give today, or does she want me to, or,
I guess,
you know what, would you like to start answering questions from this?
so what had happened is she had basically said, hey, I want to put a bench in. And we had said, great, come to the commission and, you know, talk to all y'all. And I had invited her last month. She didn't show. I invited her this month. And she said, oh, well, if I can't come, can I just give you my questions? And I says, okay. And that's what those are, so.
Okay, so, I think we should go through this really quick. Maybe next month she can come and explain what kind of bench she's looking for and where. And I will not be here in March, so your chair for that meeting will be Scott. So we'll be sure and maybe get her.
We might both be back.
Can I add something to that about the benches?
Yes.
I believe like sometime back, maybe Jerry remembers, I thought we already went down this road before about benches and the type of benches. And I don't know if we had ever finalized which one, because I think this has come up before where another citizen approached the city about wanting to put a park bench in, and there was some standards or something. I thought that we had possibly agreed to, or maybe we can look at our records. Do you remember, Jerry?
Yeah, I agree. We did talk about that one time.
And that might be something that Parks Maintenance can answer also, because of the standard that you see when you put these benches in. Some of them are Trex benches, some of them are donated memorial benches. And there's an application process for donations for the city. It's not very large, but maybe if maybe, I hate to put this back on you, but if you could send her this information, that this is our standard, this is the application process.
List of standards.
When that was, like, what year that was discussed, at least?
Oh, gosh, probably a couple of years ago, maybe,
Wow.
a couple of years, yeah. Because I know that, Trex benches have been put in not only McCormick, but Dalton and Nob Hill. And I'm not sure where else, but some people have got their own benches that wanted to put those in the parks as well, because it's a memorial bench. I think one was at Gray Cliffs, near the dog park there. But, so if, you could just send a couple of paragraphs saying this is it, this is a process, and, this is our standards.
That's what she's asking for.
And we'd like to know where, yes, where
That's where.
you would like to put that.
How's the location placement?
So invite her back.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
you know, Maybe Melissa can look up, see if she can find what we said before.
Every minute.
Another,
2 years.
yeah.
No, but I think Mike's got the standards, don't you?
I don't know what I have for standards, to tell you the truth. I
But we really pick the standard.
know is Dalton Lake has all tracks, and I know that some of them down at the
Not
end of
here.
River Street are a little bit different. Some of they're a little different design. It just kind of seems like,
Where they want.
hey, this is this area, let's make it match. As is what's been going on.
Right.
And I think that's common sense, and it seems to look good. It's not all hodgepodge of different benches, but I don't know that there is a city standard of bench, because someone might come in with a steel bench and say, well, this is the one that my dad used to like to sit on, this style, so that's what I want to be put right here in the middle of Dalton Lake. Well, all the other ones at Dalton Lake are Trexas, so
Mhm.
why not, if we don't have one right now,
Should be.
why don't we create one? Or do you guys create one as a group and
With your input, because you
Yeah.
maintain and all that, of course.
I like the Trex benches myself, there's no maintenance to them.
Are they free though, with enough recycled plastic?
They're 1,000 pounds, you have to, yeah, it was 500, now you have to collect 1,000 pounds of plastic. You have an account with Trex, and once you put in all your, like, 1 month, you might have 500. But that's why you have people collecting
But
this.
once you get your 1,000 pounds, it's free, correct?
Well,
Well,
what's been
you gotta
happening,
take a,
what's been happening is the Lions Club, Kathy and Jim Surstad, they're the ones who's kind of organized, making the benches and getting them out to different entities after that. My understanding is they've given benches to other organizations other than the city. But-
80 of.
There are 80 of them, but if we really wanted one and we said, hey, we really want one for, say, Nob Hill Park in a certain spot, and we went to Kathy and Jim and the Lions Club and said, hey, we'd really like to get one of these. Knowing those people, they would probably make an effort to see that we got one.
Because they are very instrumental in the collection of the plastic, the weighing of the plastic.
But I just talked to her. She's not gonna be doing that for much longer.
Yeah.
You gotta take up a ton of room at your house, just garbage.
500 pounds was one thing, 1,000.
She has it in her garage. They drop it off on her front porch, and I was talking to her and I said, you know what, 1,000 pounds is a lot. And you have to, yes, and I don't know if you're gonna find that again,
Right.
frankly. But you do now have to take a picture of the bags you go to weigh. So like every month, you're gonna go to Safeway or Fred Meyer's, take these bags, take a picture before they're weighed, and then you go ahead and get to your account site and put it in. So, I mean, it does take a little bit of work, but 500 to 1,000, that's a lot.
I'm curious what it would cost if you were Joe Blow just wanted to buy one of those.
I was gonna say, is there a different way other than I get the cost goes away then, but
Go to
I
Trex.
walk into Trex and say, hey, I want one of those benches.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was just looking at the Parks and Trails Master Plan from 2019. It said, it mentions in there about benches, but it doesn't really, at least in the master plan, all it says is they can be simple, ornate, or wood, or it doesn't really specify a specific type, at least in that master plan. That was from some master plan from 2019, I believe.
I think we're gonna
I know we-
talk about it case by case.
yeah, and I know that we did talk about it a couple of years ago. So, all right, so I think we should put that on either the March or April agenda. I'd like Teresa to come, let us know where she wants to put that bench. Maybe she's got a picture of the bench that she would like. And show her what the application looks like. You can get them online. Also on the parks website. So. Any other thing that you want to say about this? Or just, okay.
This is a memorial bench, right? That's the idea here.
I'm not sure if it's a memorial bench. I don't know.
Memorial bench.
Yeah, memorial benches are a little different, but if you walk by a park and you see they don't have enough benches, maybe you decide as a citizen you'd like to have a bench put there. So, I mean, people come for those various reasons. But, so for now, we're gonna go on to the next subject, item number 5. See here. And that's park needs. And what I'm bringing up as actually old business is what are the needs that you feel you need now? That you would like to see maybe in this year, get approved and that it's not too expensive, but just like signs that I brought up a couple months ago. I actually have another, sign issue that I need to bring up for the historical kiosk in Dalton Lake. And I need to get an approval from all of you to get $112 worth of signs. And they're gonna be made on Coroplast. And there's 8 signs that you can get for that. And I think I've already sent the email, Les Waters from the museum is helping me with, we discussed which pictures that we'd like on that historical kiosk. And I think they're 20 by,
That's that money from the,
that would be,
t-shirt sales.
yes,
What you're
yes.
talking about is using some of that.
and really Coroplast, and I understand they last a long time and it was suggested by Les. You can get 8 of them for $112. I mean, I spent,
Core
yeah.
class.
Coroplast is what he said that the realtors use.
It's like cardboard, but it's plastic, like a real estate sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's, they're 20 by 25 inches, and I can get 8 of them for $112. I thought.
I make a motion that, Lynn be allowed to use the funds, the t-shirt funds to purchase signs.
Second.
I guess you should put a limit on it.
They're 112, that's
So,
what they
To
said.
be able to purchase signs for $100.
Get a little skin in it.
Let's just.
Well, if it's over that, I will donate. Might be 120. Okay, so you've got your approval, Buck. And would you like less?
We have to vote then?
We have to vote.
Yes. We need a vote to approve the
A
sign.
second.
I did.
I
Oh,
think
you
we
did?
got it already.
Good job, Jacob.
So all in favor?
I,
All those opposed? All those opposed? None? It's approved. All right.
You want a receipt though for the.
Don't worry, you will get the reading.
I trust you.
Jacob.
Did you want Les to contact you about which pictures and?
Sure.
Okay, he could probably tell you which pictures and then then are you gonna go to Bemis to have those made?
However he wants to do it, if it'd be easier for him to explain to them and then.
Yeah, I think so
do the
too.
money And do that part, either way, however he wants to do it.
Okay, and then he can bring back the receipt.
Sure.
And a picture of all the different pictures that you're gonna be putting on. All right. Thank you. All right, so are there any other needs that you'd like to submit today? For the
as
board?
I said last
Yes.
month.
Did you submit it?
It was in the minutes where it said New Bridge kiosk and extend the boardwalk.
But that was for the 2024,
Yeah, the next one.
right? Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about now with a minimal amount of money that we have. Do you need any signs? Would you like any extra signs? Do you need something that's not gonna cost $500?
Well, I mentioned it and Buck had answered this, but we've, Dana's gonna design it, but the concrete stamp and Buck thinks it's gonna be somewhere between $200 and $300.
I guess, yeah.
So I don't know how you, Buck, you wanna handle that. I don't know, out of your funds or.
You got money, I'll spend your money.
T-shirt money.
How much money is there in the t-shirt fund?
I got $1.
Yeah, $1,000.
You would know that.
It's a start. Yeah, I mean, either way, we're gonna get the thing, so
Okay,
we
Okay,
play it by ear for now until we get the exact design and the drawing and the I get exact prices, then I'll bring that back to you.
And the kiosk material too. They've got the kiosk material. Mhm.
Well, the things that, you know, like, I mean, one thing is like in the botanical gardens. I probably should handle this offline with Buck, but I'd like to see, we cut down a bunch of holly trees there. The last 2 or 3 park cleanups, but now the little holly are starting to pop up. And when you go through the park, you know, spray that, if you could get that sprayed, and then on the, I guess, the north side of that trail where it runs through all the poison oak is next to the trail. If we could get the poison oak that's sprayed, you know, spray the poison oak that's next to the trail. And then at Godfrey Park, I mean, this is the far reach, like, one of the things I've been talking about for years is on the, again, on the north side of that, when you first walk into the park from 4th Street, there's a road that goes through there. I'd like to see the area to the south of that road, you know, maybe some fill put in there. If they, you know, free, you know, it comes from someplace in the city. And then.
It's one of the hardest things to get.
And then move all the dog park stuff over there, you know. So people can take their dogs to that area besides having them in the area up by the swings and the.
Do you have any signs you'd like to have put up there? Do you think there's a need for some more
Well,
signs?
it's only, well, obviously at the botanical, you know, at the botanical gardens, we'd like to have a kiosk there too with signs and stuff, but I mean. Those are just things that happen down the street. We're not gonna get those now.
Yeah, well, my suggestion is, you know, there's smaller items right now until we know how much we're gonna have. Is to submit that to Buck so that he's got that in an email and he knows what you're talking about and where.
Yeah,
The details.
The big thing is the concrete stamp. That's the big item.
Always had a brief of a couple of signs for Mount Hill, it would be kind of, I don't know how we word it, but with our couple of campus meadows that we've got. I don't know if we want to say sensitive area, stay out between a certain time or something, because I hate seeing people just go to the middle of a campus meadow or blank it out.
We have one in Dalton that says, restoration and progress. Please do not disturb.
So if those signs are that cheap, I don't think we're talking as big as yours, we're talking, you know.
10 by 12.
Yeah. That if we could get a half a dozen of them made up for whatever park we need them in, that would be really neat to see.
When I first got the signs that I got were metal. And not only were they stolen, you know, but they got graffiti on them and those things were expensive.
Yeah.
And I had a donation for those signs, so I was like, okay, that was nice, but can't afford it now.
I would like still with the website, we're still trying to scope it and kind of got mixed up on that, so the costing for archiving and maintaining it. I'm trying to get some type of costing on that,
Okay.
but I haven't yet. But it shouldn't be much at all.
Okay,
And I'm hoping that everybody will go out this spring, take beautiful pictures of their parks. And then we use them for the website. We'll have some type of standardization, can write a bullet for each one.
so easy.
Good idea.
Just-
That's
Big
really.
Sound Street Park's plain, it's got a ball field, and a ball field, that's it.
I was thinking you'd get an aerial shot, you know, it's playing. And then,
It's a tree, I could probably climb to do it.
there you go.
So my suggestion is to narrow down, you know, what you want. Because I'm hearing a lot of good ideas and maybe I don't need that now and maybe this, you know, narrow it down and then send it to Buck. And he's gonna let you know what we can do.
Unofficial tour.
One of the.
I know, I got your.
We were talking about.
You know I want-
Concrete stamp, were we needing
It's
to
not
come
cheap.
up with a source of funding for the stamp?
Buck's gonna cover.
No, Buck says he has stencil material and Dana said that,
Okay,
you know, she was
I
gonna
remember that.
design the stencil
Okay,
and the stamp to look the same.
okay.
Okay. Yeah,
I want graffiti wipes. I got low hanging fruit, You know,
You want graffiti wipes? Is that
yeah, or
what
something to do with the graffiti in Campbell,
you want?
like, well,
Say,
I don't know what you guys use, but maybe I can send
We've got a
you.
ton of everything. We've got 5-gallon buckets, we've got spray bottles, we've got wipes, we have all kinds of stuff.
you think it needs more signs?
Right.
So they can have. Okay. So graffiti white, so send that to Buck,
Okay,
you know?
can I hear your email address?
Yeah, I should have a card on.
That one.
I think I have it.
Have you ever got one of our giant?
Yeah, but have it as card, that would
Yeah.
be easier. All right, and then as you send that to him, he's gonna bring that back maybe to the next meeting or in April. And we'll get that approved, so we get going on that stuff. Okay, so the next item, number 6. Dana started this last year. And she wanted people to take turns or go to these committee meetings, whether it's city council or the budget committee or planning, or just whatever committees and commissions we have to see if there's parks involved, if there's conversations on budget, on just what is going on in the city that maybe we haven't heard of yet, you know, or that we need to act upon. And so I listened to a few of the committee, well, the city council meetings in January. And I just want to say that the budget, and I'm going to make this real loose here, is in dire straits, and they're looking for ways to keep as much as possible, but everything's on the table. And so hopefully you will all go and watch those meetings, take something out of it, and if you are inclined, write a letter to the budget committee and city council, send it to Kathy Payne. If you have a concern and you're worried about it, or if you know that it's gonna affect our parks, I mean, we've got the library, we've got a lot of different entities here in the city that could be impacted. And me, for one, I don't want to lose anything that we have now. In the last year, a little over a year now, we have had a big turnaround, a wonderful turnaround for our parks and the park staff and being under Public Works. And they are exemplary.
It's about
Yeah.
2 years ago, we lost a parks person.
Well, and I believe this year, didn't we?
Oh, pardon?
Didn't we lose somebody this year?
We haven't yet.
Yeah,
Hopefully not.
We're hoping not to.
well,
Well, we need to point that out, but we lost one a few years ago.
so
Yeah, we are one
The
short.
way it sounds,
So
everybody needs to play
too
nice.
short, and there's lots of
There's one
areas
piece
that
of
are short.
Good luck with it.
you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, anyway, listen to these meetings, city council meetings, and, your support.
When is the next city council?
The next city council meeting.
Next week.
Would it be next week?
Week from Wednesday, I'm gonna go to that one.
That's what-
A week from Wednesday.
Week from Wednesday.
Yeah.
A week from Wednesday, you said.
Next city count was
But it's-
the next city council.
But I believe that, and, you can
2:00 in the.
verify this, Brandon, that when you get letters from a number of people with a concern, you know, for different areas of our city, you know, under budget cuts and who knows what might happen, I think they listen.
No, it does help. It definitely doesn't hurt. So we've already gotten several letters in support of the library, so
Sorry.
same kind of things coming in for our parks. I think it'd be great.
Would it help us, you know, that?
Oh, there's the 2:00 for the work session and then 7:00 for the work session.
I'm gonna go, that would be better than individual letters.
I think, maybe, I think, maybe individual, because you're giving, you want them to see your experience. You can write it as a citizen, but they know that you're on the Parks Commission, so you have this experience behind you. And the change and the difference that we've seen in the last year. And,
Probably do both, actually.
you could do both, yeah. Some people have put it in the paper.
So I'll go to the Wednesday, the 21st, city council.
Okay, great. I will not be here, so.
Things have been mentioned in those meetings that you could pick up on and kind of figure out what it is.
Mhm.
It is a real threat to us all. I mean, it's real and it involves right there. That's what we're looking at.
Mhm.
That's the painful truth of it, so we'll see what happens. I've heard some good things that Melissa's also heard, and so things are looking better than we thought they were. That's looking good, but yeah, the threat is really there.
So we have excellent support here.
Is there anything we can do to
With,
help you guys?
between Melissa,
Do like I say, write a letter, let them know how you feel, give them your thoughts, give them what you feel is improved, give them what it means to you. I mean,
the support, that we have is,
but show them you care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Parks make the city livable.
yes,
there's a lot that goes into a lot of stuff that people don't even know, so.
yeah, there's a lot we don't even know that Parks Maintenance and
Yeah, I mean, we
Public Works and Melissa,
just see the end product.
it's incredible.
I mean, it's everything from permitting to parks to, yeah, it's a lot.
Cause if we lose money there, then it's gonna be more on volunteers to go out and try to pick up some of the slack.
I mean, more on everything.
It's hard to find volunteers
It is.
to do what needs to be done, so, and volunteers aren't gonna go and mow the lawns at the library and, all around the city,
That's a
and,
liability
I
issue,
mean,
too.
that's all, I'm only mentioning the tiny bit. Yeah, that's right. So, I highly encourage this to continue and to go to these meetings and glean what you can and write.
It would be appreciated.
We got your back, Buck.
Mine.
We got yours too.
Any other comments on that? All right, number 7, Urban Trail, Jerry Belcher.
Well, Urban Trail is still going on. So, I know last Monday we had a meeting with Bach, the Urban Trail Subcommittee. And so there's 2 things that came out of this. It's not related to the Urban Trail that I got to cover. One is, what is a quorum?
Oh, not.
So a quorum, to talk to Kathy, her and I went over the written thing quite a bit. It's greater than 50% of the existing members of that commission. So like if there's 8 members of us, then a quorum, a quorum has to be 5. And so if you have a subcommittee meeting with 4 people like we did, it's okay. So
I was
What
thinking you
that's
said
worth.
the number that of the full committee.
no, that's what Robert Earl Order says,
Members,
but
the state members, not how many you could have.
but the state says so right now there's 8 of us.
Yeah, I think you're changing your story on me.
Because we're down by.
We talked about.
Yeah, so it's gotta be greater than 50% of the existing members. The other thing that came about this, and I didn't run this by Melissa, but Buck says that Melissa is looking for grants. It's not a big part of it, but for our parks and things like that. So for the urban trail, we've got a plan to get it going, but then somewhere down the line, we need to improve the cliff trail and other things. And Melissa can find us money for that, I hope. But anyway, getting back to last Monday was a very What?
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. So getting back to the meeting last Monday, it was a very productive meeting. So first of all, you know, I had asked Buck that for him to be the Urban Trail Subcommittee's contact with the city. And he had, for some reason, we must have been on kind of the same wavelength for a change, no. And he had already written an email to Mohammed, and Mohammed says, hey, you know, he's the Public Works Director, if you don't know who he is. And he says, I've got more than I can handle right now. And so Buck is our contact, so it's just really good. So what we asked for, and this is kind of for Brandon, one of the things we asked for was to get approval to start marking the urban trail. And to do this, next Wednesday, February 21st at 2:30, Howard and I and Buck are gonna walk the trail and look to see where it should be marked. But we probably, this will probably not happen until next September, October, that it actually gets marked. So we have concrete markers and we have stencils. And the other thing is Lynn is on the subcommittee and she's working with kiosks. She's designing a kiosk. She's working with where it's gonna go. And we talked about plans with that. Since probably Columbia Riverview Park is not gonna be done when they thought it was gonna be done because of financial reasons, we'll probably start it out as Seaman and go there. And then
And the decision was made on that. It's gonna be half the size of the other kiosks.
and Roger's gonna make that and the city has materials to do that, so it's not gonna cost anything. Okay. Dana is going to, she wasn't there, she's gonna meet with Buck. I don't know if she has or not. And they're gonna design the concrete stamp and they're gonna design the stencil for marking the sidewalks and where it needs to be on the road. So the only thing that I've asked for, the subcommittee we've done from the very beginning, we want it to kind of look like the cupola. We actually have a design. I've seen it many times, so has Dana, that it kind of looks like the cupola of the old courthouse. It's really pretty good looking. And we like, you know, it has a top to it, so it's pointing, so it can point the one direction of the trail that's going. What else was, there was something else. That was pretty much it. And then we decided that once our ducks get in a row, Buck said, you know, we've got everything lined up, you know, Lynn's part, Dana's part, Howard and our part, Buck's part, then we're going to go and talk to the city council again. And the reason for this was we met with the city council probably 3 years ago. And they were for it. Hey, this is a great deal. But since then, we only have one person that was on there, and that's the mayor. And the mayor's been a very strong supporter of it. Now, Brandon obviously knows all about this because he was on the Parks and Trails Commission, but he wasn't on the city council at the time. So somewhere in the future, I don't know how many months it'll be, 2, 3, 4 months, we're gonna meet with the city council, and then hopefully, as soon as they get through down here with the construction, we can get the trail going. Now, and this is gonna cost the city almost nothing. So, you know, the cost benefits is really, we think, really good. Now, down the future, yes, there needs to be overlooks made. You know, there needs to be improvements to the trail. But as far as getting the trail operational, and Dana wants to get it on the internet, she wants to promote it and market it. So, you know, people in the community will know that the trail's there. And she wants to get it out there so people in the region that like to do walking can come to St. Helens and walk the St. Helens Urban Trail. And I really hope this trail gets done by next September or October, at least the beginning parts.
Jerry, we had discussed this a couple of months ago about approaching the Chronicle with
So, yes,
the idea and then have them.
I don't think we want, you know, the thinking, we talked about that in the meeting. We talked about, yeah, later. We talked about the Oregonian, we talked about, you know, the Chronicle and everything else. But, you know, once the city council, the city administration says, yeah, go ahead and mark it, get it all done. We would like to, get it in the Oregonian, maybe even get it on television, get the local taper, maybe even have, a day, some Saturday where we have, yeah, an opening of it and invite people that would like to walk to come and walk the urban trail. But we haven't really, we just always said is, yeah, we kind of like to do that, but we got to get the we got to get the urban trail marked and get it going first.
Crystal King will be great for doing that. So that's a huge asset right there. So I'm not really worried about the publicity part of it. Yeah, I think it's great to do it all. Right now, I just want to, I mean, it's gonna be a temporary route for now because of construction, but it's temporary, but it's also involves what's gonna be part of the complete thing also. It's just a little rerouting for now. But I just want to get the thing going, and it's gonna be something we can start with and then just build off of it. Keep improving it, keep improving it, keep improving it, and that way financially, manpower wise, everything else just makes sense. And it's only been, what, 80 years Jerry's been doing that. Let's get it going.
Legacy.
It's gonna happen.
Our legacy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's good for the city.
I don't see this, Jerry, as something that you have to come ask permission from the council from. I could see you coming and informing them, this is what we're working on, this is what we're doing. But you're working with the Parks Department and Public Works, I think that's.
I want to give a brochure. We have a nice brochure that you have, I want to see that, we've really tried to. The thing that we've really tried to do is totally be above board, totally transparent on this. I have never gone behind anyone's back on this at all. And I think that's one of the reasons it's probably gone pretty slowly. But once Buck took over working for the parks, we had someone that said, hey, yeah, this is really a pretty good idea. And it's not gonna cost a lot. And it's not, at least initially, there's not a whole lot of maintenance in it.
That's my number one thing is make it maintenance friendly.
But I
That's what
definitely,
the stamping will do, huge. We
definitely, Brad, I want the city council to know what's going on, because I don't want someone to come up to them and say, hey, I understand that, you're gonna have an urban trail here in St. Helens, and they look at it and says, oh, those Parks and Trails people never told us anything about it. I don't want that happening. I mean, I want them to say, oh, yeah, they come and talk to us. This is really a great idea. It's gonna make the
Like you
city.
said, keep it short and sweet and inform them and let them know. And if they got questions, they can always talk to you later.
Yeah, I don't think you need to come and ask, can we put a stamp here, can we do that, that's.
No.
Come and say, this is what we're doing.
No, not the details. Yeah, no, not, yeah.
Okay. Next item is Honeyhuman Park. Mr. Jacobson.
Okay, I touched base on this last time we met, really quickly. I've been looking at doing a trail not only down from the senior center, but through the Honeyhuman Park. But I've kind of hit a wall with the ramp down to the trail because the elevation is at maybe 10 feet, and you need 12-to-1 run for an ADA accessible trail. So we're talking from, well, it's 8 to 10 feet, so we're talking 96 feet to 120 feet for a trail for the ramp just to get down there. And I don't want to look, on the side there to make it an eyesore. So I'm looking at ways of doing that. If anybody has a suggestion, I can get probably the whole project paid for through volunteer and through grants. I've talked to the guy who issues the grants, everything that, and I did a webinar on it. Everything that they're looking for, we tick all those boxes on that.
He's got,
Mr. Belcher.
I don't know, I know, obviously, I know what the senior center is, and I know where Honeyhuman Park is, and I know that, there's the community garden down there and all that stuff, but can you zigzag it?
Yeah, that's the only way to do it, would be to zigzag it. But
Can you do that?
Switchbacks.
yeah, switchbacks. I mean, as I was talking to Jenny Dimshaw earlier today about it, I have this vision in my head that I used to go to catch a plane in Scotland at this place called Chapel Row. It's for the train station, and it was just ramp, all things. It just looked like, you know, you could not make heads or tails unless, I mean, you're like in a maze to get down there. So it's to get, well, the first time maybe, but after you know, third or fourth time, it gets a little tedious. So, but I'm just thinking that it's on the side of the hill, it'd be an eyesore. I'm thinking about, you know, maybe there could be some way of landscaping it to kind of obscure the whole thing. But I mean, that's where I'm at with that.
Does that take out their garden?
No, it wouldn't take, no, I'm hoping to do is actually, there's the overlook just next, it's kind of an L there. Put a deck there so they can, people at the senior center can actually go and relax out there and look at Tiny Human. And on the side, you know, you can start your zigzag or around, because I don't know what you know, where the property line is where you could go on that. So
What type of material are you thinking you want this trail to be made out of?
I don't know. I have a couple of ideas about the labor, and I'm looking at maybe getting cost materials from either Skippoos or, you know, Dahlgrens. It's no money out of their pocket, so I would think that they'd be happy to do something like that. And then there's a school of construction in Portland that would thinking that might be able to do it. I mean, or Dick at the Habitat for Humanity. I work with him, volunteered there. He does ramps around here for people who need them for their houses. So he might be a source to where I can find a design guru. That's what I'm looking for a ramp, and to do something on that. And maybe for the labor for him, because he has the experience and all that. I'm trying to do it without you there.
Could you talk to maybe like Mark at the high school?
Who?
Mr. Mark at the high school?
I don't know.
He's the one that does the R&R program. There in town.
Yeah, I talked to him.
It's a hell of a program.
He was so busy, it took a long time for him to get back to me, but he says he's so busy with 2 different classes that he could.
Yeah, no, one of the classes he did, they redid that house right across from Tiny Human. They tore it down and built it back up, and he does it with the class.
Oh, he does all the trails?
No, he did the house.
Ramps to the house.
No, the whole house.
Okay.
He's saying you could go.
But you might want to talk to him and see if he
Yeah,
has.
I think he probably did my house.
That's what I was getting ready to say. You probably,
Yeah.
pretty familiar with that.
So, yeah, he might be a source. I'm looking for funding for another thing, and they do trails and ADA. I'm just looking for somebody who has the design wizardry to make it look and kind of blend it in.
You might be the guy to talk to then.
Yeah, Scott, the other thing is, you know, I'm retired. And, you know, there might be some retired carpenters around here who would, you know, actually like to say, hey, you know, I'd like to do that. I don't know who you contact for retired. I don't know if there's a union hall in Portland or, you know, how they, you know, get a hold of. But, you know, some retired carpenters might be willing to, you know, use their skills.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I think we should be able to get, you know, I'm looking for, I think it's a 40% match from the labor and all that, and then I get 60% or I think it's $100,000 from the local government grants
I was wondering
up to.
if Roger maybe couldn't give him a design or give him some ideas and do that.
We can ask them.
I'm just looking for anything that could get it going again, because I'm kind of hitting a wall with it.
Well, there-
I wouldn't mind, actually meeting you on site someday. If you have time, give me a call and I can bring Roger with me and
Yeah, that'd be
we
great.
can meet on site and kind of look at the landscape, because I'm just in my head, I'm picturing this. But I know I'm not picturing the elevations right, because, you know, we can move the earth too. To
Well,
certain degrees, but we
yeah.
also have a sewer line and a storm line that run right through there. right next to where that,
There's a walkway on the backside.
or on the back, right by the garden kind of, and they're not very deep, I know.
But that's at the very bottom, is it not?
I believe it's at the bottom.
Yeah, I think we can
Right.
miss it. I went there and looked at possibly, cause there's there's something, an extension goes out and it's the stairs actually. Doing a, kind of an elevator rather than a path. With the executive director there, we're looking at other possibilities with that.
Yeah, but being on site would really help me out and having. a look there, so, yeah.
Go out there, let me know, I would
Great.
mind seeing it too.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
field trip.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna add something. I'm actually a union carpenter, so I could probably help you out if you want to get a hold of me. I might have some contacts or some resources for you.
okay.
That.
All right.
Yeah, maybe by Friday we'll have it done.
I'm getting a little greedy.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna segue to something else too, since I didn't have it on
Okay, is it old business or?
there. It's, well, old business.
Okay, let's wait to get to old business here, because we've got 35 minutes.
Yeah, but it's only gonna take me a few minutes.
No, but I think that we've got it there.
Okay.
So the next.
I
Make it all good.
Old business, okay. I wonder if I should interject here.
They said old business, not old man.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Who am I to talk, you know?
Okay, next.
I discussed with you about the port property. We went out there a year and a half ago. You were looking at
Yes,
doing
it's not port property, it's St.
well,
Helens.
just a second.
Yeah.
The other side is port property. That's what I'm looking at. But with you're doing the reestablishing the park and the picnic areas. When we walked out there, we're looking, hey, this is a great spot. There's all the trees, Brandon was there. So I'm looking at maybe the possibility of doing a trail from along the port side, or a circular trail that goes down at least to the bridge, which is almost to the mouth, and up the one.
Let's Park area.
Yeah,
Oh,
I spoke with Jenny. She said there's no issues with the city about doing it. I got Patrick Burkle involved in it. I'm just looking to approach the port. I'm not sure how we're gonna do it. He knows Chip pretty well, I guess. He's gonna do that. It's just, I'm kind of fumbling through it, but I'm gonna press on because that's just too nice of an area.
Yeah,
And it's,
it's got, I'd like to be part of that when you do that.
yeah.
I'd like to at least be a member of your subcommittee.
oh, okay. I'd like Brian, if you're interested.
Well, we had a plan, but that's gotta be started when we get back.
I'm not sure where you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Building is.
If you're interested,
In the recreation building, there's a trail that goes down right along the river.
if you're interested in getting involved, I'll take you out there. We can walk the whole property.
So anyway,
Someday you're available.
I started a PowerPoint to present to the city, to present here and then to the city council, and that was a year ago. So, a lot has happened since then. I've heard, ideas from the city council that they've got, trees that they could cut, for money over in that area and all kinds of things. And they would like all of it to be industrial. So what I was hoping to do is make it a reserve, call it a woodland reserve, so that we can protect the Camas field that you couldn't see it when we were walking through there. But the idea, and I talked to John about it, and he said he would approach the port with me, give them the PowerPoint presentation and see if they would be interested now, because they were evidently 3 or 4 years ago at, they could get access to that road that goes down there all the way to almost to the dock where they want to put a dock. maybe they could donate that property just along the other side of Milton Creek. And that way we could keep all those trees there. And we could then, there's already a semi-trail there, but we could have a trail there as well. And there was a bridge that a walking bridge that we were gonna put over there too. And was there one before that? Okay. I talked to Doug Morton about that too. And so anyway, so I will, when I get back, I will get busy on that and we will get that done as quickly as possible. Because with all that I'm hearing now, I think it's a good idea to get busy and submit that.
Lynn, I have a suggestion here. Because, I kind of see that the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, So, like the urban trail, you and Dana, Howard, I'm kind of the focus there, I think it really does help to have a subcommittee. So, you and Scott are really into this, okay? And you've done some things, Scott's done some things. But we need to get everyone working together. I'd like to be on that, if there's a subcommittee, I like it, because I think if you have a subcommittee, then, you can meet and everything's,
Be on the same page.
you can be on the same page, because I was there when we walked it with Brandon and Howard
The
and
whole
everyone
commission,
else.
yeah.
And I know the people of St. Helens may not even know what we're talking about if they're listening to this, but that is an incredible,
Beautiful.
beautiful area. And if the city cuts down those Douglas fir trees, I mean, they're not gonna come back. And, but anyway, that area for the future of St. Helens, I mean, I think that area needs to be preserved, but I think, the two of you are really interested in this. And I don't know how but that would be my suggestion. I'll let you guys handle it. But I can see that Lynn has done a whole bunch of things, Scott has done a whole bunch of things, but you guys aren't working together. And it would be neat if, we had a subcommittee where everyone was,
I
going in
think
the
that's a
same
good
direction.
idea. I think that's a good idea. And anybody that wants to do that, I know Brandon was telling me about a Indian village that had been there. I forget what Native American tribe it was, but
Mountain Creek was a big.
yeah, so where it dumps into Multnomah Channel, there used to be a village there. And then they moved that out and put in a lumber mill. And that's why it's called Milton Creek, so for Milltown. So I'm wondering if that wouldn't be, I'd like to, if anybody has some suggestions, find out if that could be a heritage site there.
Well, I'm sure it could be, I'm sure there's still.
Yeah, but you have to know how to go about that and who to contact and get the information so that we have that to present to the city council.
So what I'd like to see you guys do, I don't, someone make a motion or whatever, or you guys can talk among yourselves and see what you want to do, and then maybe next week, but.
I think
Yeah.
that's fine for whoever would want to be on that subcommittee. You said you would like to be part of that.
Yeah, I just want to be a working member, I don't want to be the head person, I mean,
Well,
I just
yeah.
want to be there, I mean, like you.
I have contacted Pat Burkle
Yeah,
and he's interested in it too. So I'm just trying to build support, not just within our committee.
that's the one that I asked to go.
And out with it, just trying to build support with not just us. So it gets a little more sway to it. a little
Does
growth.
anybody make a motion to form a subcommittee for the old Boise area? I had a name for it already on that.
we need a better name, we need something that's catchy there, like.
Can we just put,
It was Milton Creek Woodland Reserve is what I put on.
I like that.
could we put this off until, we have a better idea of what a community, because as I said, I was looking to get other people involved with it, and Patrick is already, so we could try to get.
But when we
us-
do a subcommittee, we have a subcommittee of the parks and trails people. And I have no problem waiting until next month. You guys can kind of talk about it and see what you want to do. I think.
We'll be here next month.
Well,
Yeah,
or 2 months.
April, yeah. And this was already started, when we took that tour. We were taking tours of all the parks 2 years ago. And you weren't on the committee, commission.
I was
2
there.
years ago.
I went-
I know you were there, you just knew, yeah. And so then it kind of, there was so many other issues going on that it just got put to the wayside, but I asked Patrick to come because he knew the parks too. And so when we all went out there, I think everybody was just amazed at how beautiful that was, and it would be less maintenance. I mean, my whole idea at the beginning was to have less maintenance for parks. Number one, because we don't really have we can't put a lot of things in there. It would take too much money to keep it up.
Yeah.
There's a nice trail through there, and it'd just be a matter of keeping that open, the trail that goes all the way down. And right now, or last time I was there, there's still a lot of blackberries there. And we'd have to open that up too. So
Well, what I had envisioned was a trail on both sides. That's what I-
that was our vision too. That's what I was talking to John about with a port. So you could take that to the port, and he says, I don't know, Sean was not very open to that idea at that time, but there's new people on the port commission as of last year, and that might change.
Mhm.
So you just gotta go and try. But, yeah,
I think the sooner you get moving on this, the better, just because there's been lots of interest expressed in that property.
yes.
And as of several years ago, it has been parcelized out. It's the St. Helens Industrial Park.
I talked to Jenny and she said there's a corridor because of the wetlands there,
There's
so.
a narrow
There's a
corridor.
lot of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
She gave me the maps
So,
of that area.
I think it would be important to come up with a plan and a proposal
Mhm.
and at least something to formally present. Like I said, we have been talking about this for several years. but
Right.
Until something formal is pinned down and presented. And like you said, I think minimal maintenance will be key. I don't think Buck's begging for more acres to maintain, but
Well, I'm not sure how to approach it. Is one side is with the Columbia, the port property. Maybe you could do a Columbia Park on that side, and on the other side, do a city park, and then have the bridge meet in the middle. You
And
know,
she
you could do it that way.
make a motion.
Oh, about subcommittee?
Yeah.
Oh,
'cause we-
oh, yeah, I'll make a motion for that. I know, how did,
How does
I don't
everybody
know,
else
but-
feel about that? Subcommittee?
I can make one and I'm willing to do that and I think it's really a good idea, but do we wanna say? Lynn, Scott are co-chairmans of the subcommittee?
Doesn't matter.
You guys are both really interested in it, so I think that's what I'll do. I make a motion that the Parks and Trails Commission form a subcommittee. For what was the name you had?
Milton Creek Woodland Reserve.
For the Milton Creek Wood Reserve. Milton Creek Woodland Reserve. Which is basically from the bridge that crosses Old Portland Road down both sides of Milton Creek down to the mouth of Milton Creek. That would be the Multnomah Channel. And that the two, that there be co-chairmen, Lynn Pettit and Scott Jacobson of the subcommittee.
Do you want to be on that, Jacob?
I could.
Hmm?
I could be on it.
Okay, that'd be great. Anybody?
I'd
else?
already asked, I don't know if we'd have a quorum if we had one more than.
We can have 4 right now.
Either way, I'm not familiar with the property at the moment.
Well, Dana has her hand raised.
So I just want to make a comment here again, because Jerry brought it up earlier, and I'd really love some clarity from Melissa or Buck or Brandon. So there were some questions when it comes to our subcommittees and how many people can be present during a meeting without prior public notice. Because with the Urban Trail Committee, we had a meeting this last week, and last year in March, I had received an email, which also went out to Melissa, Buck, Brandon, and John Walsh. And that email came from Kathy, and it stated that as long as we only have 8 members currently active on the commission, that we can't have more than 3 of the commission members meet together at a time without prior public notice. And then I had received phone calls and texts this week from some of the commission members stating otherwise. And I just wanted some clarification on that prior to forming new subcommittees and having meetings with them. That way, these committees are in alignment with what the actual rules are, so that we're not violating any of the rules.
So I had a talk with Kathy and I said, hey, Kathy, I'm not trying to, to hide anything. I want everything to be transparent, totally transparent. I said, if I knew that we were having a meeting that was a quorum, more than a quorum, then I would call you and we could get it, properly disseminated to the local public, not So Kathy looked it up, what the state law says, and we had quite a discussion on it. And at first, Dana, she was saying what you said, that if we had if there's 8 people here, then 4 people would be a quorum. We couldn't have it. But she got the actual reading and she started reading it, and it says there has to be greater than 50% of the existing members of that commission. So if you have 4 people, that's not greater than 50%. And she says that's what the state says. So Dana, I would say, maybe contact her, but she was initially, she said, yes, we were a quorum, and then she got the actual, what the state actually said, and she read it and says, no, I was wrong. I'm really glad she was very, very polite and says, yeah, that really clarifies a lot of things. So that's what she told me, and that would be Tuesday, February 6th, that we had that discussion.
All that to be said, have we had anybody volunteer for the Parks Commission?
No.
No applicants.
No applicants.
Did we not get back with the people who had applied prior back in December? We had 2 applicants.
They never answered, Dana. They never responded to Melissa's inquiry.
So we need to go out there and drum up another person.
Well, she already sent that out.
Let's go back. Let's finish up the subcommittee.
Right,
So I make a motion that we form a subcommittee for
yeah.
I gotta write that down.
Milton Creek Woodland Reserve. And Jacob has volunteered as well as Jerry.
Yeah.
So it has,
I
Brian.
would say that, and
I'll let
I
Brian.
don't think you can have.
I'll let Brian go
we
ahead.
only have 4 as right now.
So, all right, yeah, but you're familiar with it.
Declared as a
A
new.
little bit, yeah,
Yes.
in there, I would
Say
say,
something.
so this would give him a chance to learn it and.
If someone else wanted to attend, one of our
You have to
meetings,
notify.
then you need to let Scott and Lynn know ahead of time.
Right.
And then they let Kathy know, and then Kathy sees that it's done. It's not a big deal.
one of us,
It's not a
It's
big
not.
deal.
one of us doesn't have to be there too.
Yeah, one of us-
Just let her know that there's gonna be a subcommittee.
Yeah, and she just notifies it that no decisions will be made, and because we're a subcommittee, and then we come back. Get that approved.
We'll let other people that haven't been on the subcommittee be there.
Well, because that's a trail, I'm kind of interested in trails, that's.
If it's all of you practically. I know, it's not a subcommittee.
Yeah,
Okay, so you've made your motion.
I made my motion.
the 2%.
We need a second.
Who-
Second it.
And who wanted to be on this now? Who is going to be on that? Okay. All right, yeah, Brian's, okay, all right,
If anybody gets hired, let me know.
all right.
Well, you know, it's coming.
You can-
Let us know ahead of time.
Okay.
Let us know ahead of time.
Still need a second, we need to know.
I second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion's passed. Okay, any other old business? Might bring up again, we've only got 15 minutes to get through the rest of the agenda. Okay. Okay, any action items that you want to bring up? No. Okay, staff report.
I don't have a whole lot that we haven't already discussed. Basically, it's just kind of the snow and the ice and winterizing and de-winterizing and all of that throughout all the parks has been the main thing recently. We are going through and leaking inside of most of the restrooms of all the parks, so if you see a porta potty outside, it's because our guys are in there working, so they're just kind of rotating that around from park to park. Other than that, trees blowing down, everything else, it's just been basic, regular winter type maintenance. Yeah, about all I got.
Thank you.
Don't have a lot either. I did have an email today from Taylor from the Scappoose Bay Watershed. She was hoping to be here today. Was having some internet issues. So she just mentioned that she would like to continue the discussion on removing invasive plants from the Japanese garden. And I recommended maybe we could meet there on site, a couple members of this commission and then also Buck, and just take a look around, and she could share what ideas she has and what they would like to do there. But she said that would be the first step, is to just survey what's there and what they would remove before we talk about any planting or anything else there. The city will be looking for volunteers for this summer for Citizens Day. I know traditionally we've always had a tent there and been represented, but they're looking for volunteers to help maybe with serving food or set up, take down, those kind of volunteers too. So keep in mind, if you're interested in that, that'll be in June. And feel free to share too, if you know other people in the community that would be interested in helping out. That takes a lot of people to make that run smoothly. So the first planning meeting for that will be coming up the end of February. So we should know then a little bit more about how many we need and what kind of things they'll be doing. And then just touching on something you mentioned earlier, please do make your voices heard regarding the budget. Yeah, not just you, but anybody you know that uses the parks and feels that that's an important part of our community. I personally think it's probably a little premature to do that now. I know a month or more ago, we got ones for the library, but the actual budget process for the coming budget won't actually begin until April. So April 25th is the first meeting. There's meetings regarding the budget, past budgets that are going on now, but the discussions regarding the future budget will begin April 25th. So I think it would be ideal to get that shortly before that meeting, so it's still fresh on everybody's mind. Letters are good, but keep in mind, public comment is always good too. So if you're comfortable with coming and speaking and sharing your opinion in a public meeting, that's always welcome too. So thanks for all you do. Thanks for all your hard work and dedication. It's appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion items?
I just want to say one thing quick. It's the Japanese Gardens. I had suggested to Brian, and I also told Lynn about making that a historic landmark. Just for your consideration. Think about it.
I was gonna say, Taylor is the current person in the Scappoose Bay Watershed Council, kind of doing things on the restoration. That's the other people that changed its watershed council. So that explains when you talked about Taylor, who that is, Watershed Council.
He's one that's going to the Japanese Garden and do the.
Yeah. She's running the greenhouse now, restoration.
Anything else for the councilor's report? Okay, thank you very much. Discussion items. Any discussion?
Typical work party coming up for Saturday in April for Knoxville. We do another big backroad, another walk with the Native Plant Society of Oregon in the park in April. Get back to more on that.
When was the Knoxville?
What?
When was the Knoxville?
First Saturday?
Your Saturday.
This coming Saturday?
No, first Saturday in
First.
April.
Okay.
So we still have time to go next month. So
Okay.
I'm keeping it short. We can talk more next month.
Okay, so if there's nothing else for discussion, then I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
And that's really.
Job.
They were gonna make it.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
See you guys.
Thanks, Mom.
See you, Paul.
Bye-bye.
When are you leaving?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Really?